And so if you want to beat someone, just try 10 times harder than them. And you only really need to try 2 or 3 times harder, but you probably don't realize how much harder they're trying than you are. So try 10 times harder just to make sure you win.
Welcome back to Daily Revenue Report. Today, we're reacting to Alex Hormozi dropping one of the most aggressive takes on success you'll hear all year. He's saying straight up, if you're losing, it's not because of luck. It's because someone else is working 10 times, maybe even 100 times harder than you. How is that possible? Well, most people hate this idea because it completely destroys every excuse. In this video, he's breaking down exactly what he means by 10x output, how people are compressing weeks of work into a single day, and whether this mindset actually works or is it just like hustle culture BS, right? If you're trying to grow a business, make more money, or stop spinning your wheels, this might be the wake-up call you didn't want but definitely need. And if you want more breakdowns like this, real strategies, real execution, no fluff, hit like and subscribe because we're dropping videos like this every single day. All right, let's get into it.
People reject this idea that someone can work 10 times or 100 times harder, but I define work as output. And so for you to say that someone can't produce 10 times more than you is just factually false. There's tons of people who produce 10 times more. There's tons of people who produce 100 times more than you. I'll give you the easiest example in the world. A lot of departments run on weekly cadences. They say, do this thing by end of week. Oftentimes, you can ask that person, how many hours will this really take you? And then that person will say something like, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours. You say, okay, well, why don't you just get it done by noon? And then at noon, you say, okay, what's the next thing gonna take? And they'd say, probably another 3 or 4 hours. You say, cool, get it done by the end of the day. Now from those 2 cycles, that would have normally taken 2 weeks or 14 days, but instead it got done in 1. And so just right there, you got something done, you got 14 times more done than the competitor who's doing things on a weekly basis.
I mean, it makes sense, right? Think about if you have to get something done at the end of the week, you start putting it off. You're like, well, I have all these other things I need to do, so maybe I can push this to 3 days out. I can, if it's Monday, I can do this thing that I need to get done by the end of the week on Thursday, but I have these other things I need to do, so I can do those things first. But if you're like, no, this thing needs to get done by the end of the day. Okay, well, now I'm going to work at a pace that's much faster than my normal pace when I'm just like, it's an end of a week kind of thing. So it does make sense. Think about when you thought you had more time for a project and then you realize actually it's due like right now. How much faster do you work, right? Your cadence goes up tremendously. So that makes sense.
And so this is how you drag the future to the present, is that you're not focusing on how hard you're working, you're focusing on how much you're getting done. You'd be amazed at how much better you get after you've done it 100 times. If you want to win, do it again. I want to be clear. You don't just post 100 videos in a row and see what happens. You post one, see what worked, and then try and do more of that thing. And so the idea isn't just raw effort. It's raw effort with an improvement loop. And so I remember one of my favorite words that I have to teach sales guys, because it's a very repetitive task to teach someone how to sell, is great, do it again. Great, again. Great job, again. And so it's that repetition that breeds the nuance of skill. And you want it to be so drilled into you that you no longer have to consciously think about how to do the thing, because you can then do it as a natural skill so that you can move on to putting your attention to the next skill. So it's not just about learning how to do it once, it's about learning how to do it so many times that you don't have to think about doing it at all. Especially if you're starting out, your goal should not be passive income, mainly because you don't have enough money for the passive income to mean anything. Instead, you should learn how to make money while you're awake before trying to learn how to make it while you sleep. You crawl, then you walk, then you run. Once you have more money than you can possibly reinvest in education and acquiring more skills, then you can take the leftover and put that into your passive income pool. And so very, very tactically, this is what I'll walk you through. You should have an education investment budget. And so just like you spend X dollars per month, so let's say we pull all of your expenses down and you're making an extra $1,000 a month. Okay, now if you're not eating out, you're not buying new clothes, you're not going out with the boys, you're not spending money in stupid ways, if that's what you're doing, then you're gonna have $1,000 left. If you have that, then you can take that money and every month you can put it towards a bank account that you can either choose to immediately spend or save up for something that is more expensive. And I can tell you that a lot of what I learned when I bought programs and seminars and conferences and things like that wasn't even from the content itself, but it was connections that I was able to make at those types of events that I was then able to leverage the one skill I had, which I was good at sales, and then start giving that away to every person I met so that I could collect those IOUs and then learn skills for free. And so it's
Yeah, there's two really good points here, right? The first point that he made was if you do something 100 times, you're going to get better at it. But if you do something 100 times and after every one time you do it, you evaluate your work and you go back and you look at it and you're like, how long did it take me? Where was the hardest part? How can I make this more efficient? How can I make it higher quality? That loop that you go through is going to make you infinitely better than just doing something 100 times with no intention, right? You need to have intentional practice. This is why growing up, you should do sports. You should put your kid in sports because it teaches you this at a young age. It teaches you how to do something over and over again and have a coach there that every time you fail or every time you even succeed, he's giving you some feedback. And if you take that feedback and you work on the things you need to work on and recognize the things that you're good at and why they're working and why they're good, your improvement will be amazing. And then, of course, if you take all of that and add some education, add a coach, add some information, some knowledge, a course material, and you add that into your loop, I mean, it's game over. You'll be good at anything you want to be good at. And if that skill is making money, it's an exponential growth because the more money you make, the more you're able to invest in education, the more you're able to save, et cetera, et cetera.
It's like I really just needed the ticket to get in the room, and then I could trade with everybody else with the skills I had to then get to learn theirs. And so as wild as this sounds, at the end of 2025, you could be dead broke, but rich in skills. And so let's say at the end of next year, you actually have no more money, but you now have the ability to make more money. And so just like my father had to start over from nothing after losing everything, he didn't lose everything. He still had the most valuable thing he had, which is that he was a surgeon. And so he knew a skill and he could make it work here like he'd make it work there. And that is something that no divorce can take from you, no government can confiscate, and it's something that's with you till the day you die. And so that's how you get better. You keep going, you keep improving the feedback loops, you invest appropriately, and you keep going all in on you. Real quick, if you were a business owner.
All right, look, if this breakdown of Alex Hormozi made you rethink how you're actually working and not just how hard you think you're working, you're starting to see it, starting to come together for you. Because the difference isn't effort, right? It's output, speed, iteration. And the people winning right now aren't just more motivated than you. They're executing faster, learning faster, and stacking reps while everyone else is waiting for the right time, right? And if you get value from this, just hit that like and subscribe. We're breaking down strategies like this every single day to help you move faster, make more, and actually win. All right, I'll see you in the next video.